Alright guys, TacticalRab here back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, and today we're going to talk about have pros potentially lost the plot a little bit with these gentlemen's agreements that have been coming out over the last few days. Smokes have been banned at least in respawns. Now the laser sights look like they're gone from professional Call of Duty for the upcoming season. Is this a justified change? Is this one step too far? Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much for doing that, and I did the calculations a few days ago that today is the 500th day in a row that I've daily uploaded on this channel without missing a day, basically, which is a pretty cool milestone for me. I'll see you guys another 500 days for sure. I think the last day I missed was the Friday before CWL Miami 2019, so it's been a long road since then, and well, thank you guys for sticking with me all this time. For those of you who have been around a long time, and to those of you who are newer, then well, thank you very much for joining along the road. And if you're very new to the channel indeed, consider hitting that big red button below the video. It helps me out a lot. Let's get into things then. So Waskin says this yesterday, a couple of Rostermania things before we really kick off. 2020 has been nothing but L's what a pony year, so certainly, well, the question is really, with Goonjar potentially no longer in that Paris team with Scraps, Aqua and Fire, as the rumour was a few days ago, could Waskin potentially be that target, right? But it doesn't necessarily seem like that is the case, and Scraps even says, I've been fighting battles up a steep hill. Maybe you could read into this and say he's been trying to get Waskin in the team, but maybe not exactly happening. Paris, well, still a long way from confirming what their roster is exactly going to be. So, a couple of days ago, the pros came out and decided that smoke grenades were going to be banned in respawn game modes. There's certainly the question around, okay, trophies, maybe a little bit are inconsistent, like they don't exactly stop smokes all the time. They're very inconsistent smoke grenades. More generally, the way that sometimes you get one-ways, sometimes, like, well, they stop your aim assist, right, which can be a bit of an issue. I do find them rather annoying, and I can definitely understand that in respawns, you certainly don't want 8 smokes on the map. Maybe even 2 smokes on the map is going a little bit too far. So anyway, they decided to get rid of it, and as you can see in this clip from Royalty, I'll probably play at the end of the video. He brings out the sniper. Royalty, well known as like this high sensitivity player, I'm sure you guys will know. That's like all the commentators talk about when this guy's on the stage. But you can see he's using the sniper in the respawn game mode here, and it's well, pretty rare to have actually seen this, that people use snipers in respawn. Only happened a couple of times. I think way back in the day, they used to use it on occasion. I think Karma used it one time on Yemen Hardpoint way back in Black Ops 2. Also in Infinite Warfare, I think Formal pulled it out a couple of times on was it Retaliation Hardpoint for that very first hardpoint on the bridge in Infinite Warfare, so certainly understandable, but seems to now also be viable in this game with smoke grenades on the map. So the question is really, as we're going to talk about gentlemen's agreements today, is there another thing that's going to be added to the GA list in a couple of days' time? Is that potentially going to be sniper rifles? Because we talked about that as well. So smokes are gone from the game as it currently stands, still allowed in search and destroy, it seems. And as General says, it's either a smoke on the map or this, like, pick your poison in that sense. You can either add smoke grenades or you can have to deal with these sniper rifles. If smokes are out, then I am also sniping. Each team has 3 trophies on the map, so General certainly against the smoke grenade gentleman's agreements here. 3 trophies on the map, just don't suck with your trophies and put them on certain points in the hill, right? Yes, trophies bug sometimes, but that just means trophies need a buff, not to take out smokes entirely from the game right now. But a lot of the pros have decided, well, smokes have got to go, and they've also copied one of the European gentleman's agreements that, well, laser sights, the steady aim laser, also has to go from professional play. That's what was the case a few days ago. We saw the European amateur side also banning the laser sight, the AK-47 also banned, and now, well, the professional scene has decided to go one step further and get rid of the lasers in their entirety. And it's really interesting to me why this exactly is going to be the case. Cren pointed this out, lasers might have been GA'd yesterday too, not 100% sure yet. Then it pretty much gets confirmed by Octane in this class setup video. I'll leave the link to this down in the description box below, but also play this quick 10-minute clip that Crow points out when, well, he's talking about the laser sight and the fact that he's not actually using it on these weapons right now as he's going through the class setups.
I went bullet velocity just so I can shoot the damn thing faster. That's pretty self-explanatory. No laser because frowned upon. Field agent grip. This is
now the updated gentleman's agreement list. No smokes allowed in respawn, no lasers in the other section. In addition to score streaks, thermals are gone, gearhead is gone, perk read is gone, lawbreaker is gone with the no overkill stuff, tactical rifles disappeared, molotovs are gone as well. And that's pretty much how it stands right now, with some team limits to 3 trophies, as General was talking about, and 2 smokes in the search and destroy. Have the pros lost the plot a little bit? Is this one step too far? You can certainly argue it is. I think that over the last few years, pros have been been getting, well, more and more intrusive, I suppose, in terms of the rule sets. I was just thinking back to Black Ops 2. If you guys remember, I'll have to revisit this at some point in one of the 3 minutes in COD history videos, but Clayster pulling out the crossbow and on Ray's hardpoint. I don't know if you guys remember this, you're a proper OG, but he pulled out the crossbow and he used it to blow up the white van for the driveway on Raid hardpoint to the first hill and got like 2 kills with it. And at the time, people were saying, wow, that's so innovative, that's like really cool that he was able to do this and like think outside the meta in that sense. And also at the World Championships that year, you had the legendary Dashy, who was a South Korean player. At that event, he was pulling out, well, his team were pulling out the riot shields, everything that was allowed they were using inside the game. And they were playing up against Complexity, I believe, at that event at one point, who went on after they switched out too quick for Clayster to become like the most dominant Call of Duty team of all time, at least in terms of wins per events played, just a few days after, or yeah, a few months really after that event was played. And then Dashy and co are playing up against these guys using all sorts of stuff. Nowadays, of course, that would not fly. And over the last few years, things have definitely become more and more intrusive. And it definitely separates to some degree, I think, the well, the casual and the competitive side even more than it already has. I definitely try on this channel to make competitive Call of Duty accessible to casual audiences, but certainly there's some disagreements between the competitive community and the casual community. And, you know, really what's happening here to some degree is that it's even separating the professional community one step further away from even normal competitive players. Because if you want to play league play, if you want to play like game battles or something, no one's really going to be using this stuff because, you know, it's just not enforced in the actual game rules themselves. So the pros are even playing a different game to normal competitive players. I think it really started in like, you know, World War II when pros banned the long barrel on the bar. They felt that, okay, the bar with long barrel with that extra 20% range was just too good against the STG, and they felt like the meta would be better if they reduced, if they got rid of long barrel, none of the pros used it, and then it was kind of STG, maybe an occasional bar, and then the PPSH. And maybe that did work, and maybe that was fair, but it felt like, okay, banning like a specific attachment in that sense is maybe, you know, maybe getting onto the borderline of what the pros should be allowed to do. I don't really know. And in this game, right, the lasers are not even particularly strong. I mean, this is a class, I think this is Kenny's Krig class that he's using right now. Over at Breaking Point GG, you can find all of this stuff, link in the description box below. But yeah, steady aim laser he was using on this. And you can see that, well, obviously a lot of attachments here. The 7 attachment, 8 attachment stuff that you can get with a Gunfighter Wildcard. But I believe the Raider stock and some of the other attachments, especially the people use on the SMGs, they actually reduce your hipfire spread. They reduce it by like 30% in exchange for some pretty positive upside benefits. The steady aim laser just increases your hipfire accuracy by something like 20%, right? Which is, I mean, it's significant, but it's not exactly out of control. And it seems like one of these attachments that, okay, yes, I can understand maybe where the pros are coming from in the sense that, okay, if we get rid of the steady aim laser, maybe it means the SMGs are more viable in a close range scenario where, okay, the Krig and the AK are dominating because they have the steady aim laser on as well, and therefore in close range combat they're able to have very accurate hipfire spread, and there's nothing that you can do as an MP5 or an AK-74U to combat that. And maybe that does benefit, well, the weapon balance to some degree. But it just gets to an interesting point where we're starting to ban specific attachments or weapons. Like, what is next, right? If you allow the pros to do this, and if the CDL says, okay, that's perfectly reasonable, we're going to implement all this stuff into the CDL rule set, the pros are probably going to play with it regardless, like what they've decided to use. But, yeah, certainly there's not agreements over the whole of the community. Octane in that clip was kind of saying, okay, it's frowned upon. Does he necessarily agree? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. As an assault rifle player, he'd probably be happy to have it on anyway and get that additional advantage. And then General clearly not happy with this smoke gentleman's agreement that we did talk about. And then the question, I suppose, is what comes next, right? Now the pros have gone this far, what is next on the chopping block? Is it potentially the sniper rifle we looked at Royalty using at the start of the video? Are they going to say, okay, you're not allowed to use that in respawn because it's too powerful in certain situations? I don't really know, right? And I think this is definitely annoying a number of the fans of the scene, I suppose. Pros maybe taking things too far. And I think the CDL might have to consider drawing a line somewhere and saying, like, look, okay, like, we're not allowed to do this, but we can allow that. We can talk about it and possibly have some sort of panel like with TP and Karma or something where they can discuss with the players, okay, what do you want to get rid of? What middle ground can we potentially find here? I don't know, maybe it's just going one step too far. This time around, I think the laser sight is getting on the borderline of where it really does, well, become a little bit difficult to manage. Attach says this then, just to finish off the video, in terms of the anti-cheat stuff, these tourneys are becoming increasingly unplayable these past few days. Attaches, look, Cold War needs an anti-cheat. This is going to be increasingly unplayable. And Clayster says he pretty much just stopped playing tournaments as a result. I've lost to multiple hackers and it's so frustrating. They just know what to do at the perfect moment every single time, and that's definitely affecting the S&D scene this year. Like, this game honestly is a lot of fun to play in Search and Destroy, but with the cheating problem it seems like we've got right now, especially on the PC side, it's creating a very difficult environment for that scene to thrive once again. As as Niall says, Challenger Cup is only a week away, so this Challengers Cup coming up in a week or so's time, in the first week or so of December, and as a result of that, the Combine is coming up shortly afterwards, and then a lot of the pro teams are going to be looking at these Challengers Combine and the Challengers Cup, trying to figure out which players they want to pick up potentially to their substitute roster, and it's definitely going to cause problems. As attaches, something needs to be done to prevent these hacks from being used. It's just going to suck to see legitimately talented players deal with all this stuff. And this nice little clip to finish off the video here from Mental, little clip from scrimmages. So he's definitely looking good on this Los Angeles Guerrillas Academy team, and using the AK in this one, a little bit controversial. Well, not necessarily controversial, but a lot of people think the Krig is the way to go right now, but frying people all over the place. When the AK is hitting good, it is certainly hitting good. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.